So, is this episode 28 of The Journeyman? Or is this Club 4 episode 1? That's why you've all tuned in. You know, it's not just to see this handsome face. I'm just making sure. Yes, 28. I had to check the episode numbers. I'm brilliant. So you're all here to find out who we're managing. As you see, we're in a sort of abyss at the moment because I can't show you anything. So I just got back from Amsterdam. Thank you very much for all the comments and kind comments that you left. Sorry I didn't get a chance to reply to them all. I just wouldn't be able to record videos if I spent all my time replying. I reply to as many as I can. Just like to, before we get going, just to tease you further, before we get going, I'd like to thank you to our brand new patrons, and that is Alex the Tall, Scotland Serenity, Chris Carpenter, and Kai Gardiner. Thank you guys so very much for supporting me and supporting the channel and our little community here. So really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Right, shall I stop teasing you? Shall we roll the intro and see where we are? Just FYI, the intro is going to be the old one, so it might be wrong. It might be right. Who knows? Let's roll the intro. Let's get on with it. We got a brand new club or the same club, but either way, there's going to be a lot of transfers in there. So let's get on with it. Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to episode 28 of the Journeyman Save. And as you can see, we are staying at Venlo. There was like a 95% comments saying stay. There was a few people that said go. But what we're going to do is right now, we're going to say this is our last year at Venlo. Okay? Everybody, like most people, wanted us to do the European journey and see how far we could get in Europe. So that's what we're going to do. But we're going to say this is the last year at Venlo. Whatever happens, even if we win the league or get into the Champions League, it's time to move on. So that's it. But we've got a ton, absolute shit ton to catch up on because we've got European football, which means we have new EU rules, which means we've had to just destroy the squad and rebuild it. And we've also got some club news and some facilities and all that sort of good stuff. Right. So let's get into the transfers. Let's start with the outs, the disappointing outs. So the first to go is one of our best players, which is sad to see, but £6 million for FC Utrecht. So he's going to come back and haunt me this season, isn't he? He was brilliant for us last season, but because of these EU rules, needing 8 homegrown players and 4 homegrown players trained at the club, meaning I had to overhaul, get rid of the foreigners and just bring in some Dutch players, and I needed money to do that because they're stupidly expensive. So sadly, Ari was the first culprit, but he had a great season. He got him on a free, sold him for £6 million. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Right, goodbye, Harry. We miss you. All right, Ari, sorry, we miss you. Next up on the chopping block was a backup from last year more than anything, Andre Capristo, who's a left midfielder. He's a good all-rounder, didn't play enough game for us, and we managed to get £3.2 million for him after picking him up on a free last year. Bloody marvellous. Amazingly, he's gone to Den Bosch in the Jupiler League. How have they got £3.2 million in the Jupiler League? That just seems unfair. But there we go, £3.2 million. That's what that, £9.2 million saved so far. Next one. It's a sad day for us all. It's Right Angle, the goalkeeper. It's not a sad day. We're all kind of delighted. He was utter shit. He's our goalkeeper. We sold him for a massive £38,000. He was awful when he did the few games he did play for us. And we needed Dutch players. We got a Dutch goalkeeper back up to fill the roster. Goodbye, Angle. We won't miss you. Next one of the big name signings that's gone out the door a year later is Jeremy Por San Clemente. He looked a decent player, just really underperformed. And if you look, 3 goals in 20 games. Okay, a lot of those were subs, but that is awful. But we did manage to get £450,000 for him, so I'm quite happy with that. Next one. Bro. Oh no, we've sold Bro. Jeremy Bro has left us, sadly. It is a sad day, but I didn't really perform last season, to be honest, and I managed to get 2.8 million. That's what sums it up. 24 games, 1 goal, no assists is pretty awful. I know we did chop and change formation. I'll talk to you later about that because at the end of this video there's going to be a big thing. Just saying that now. So we've sold him for 2.8 million. I can't say fairer than that. We are raking in the money. Next one. So, Josh Vella has decided to leave the club. He was wanted by a team. He whinged a bit. He's whinged a couple of times. I don't like whinges, as you guys know. I thought we could do better. He was on a massive wage. He's earning 5,500 at Sparta Rotterdam, but he was earning, I think, almost 10,000 with me. And we've got to pay, I think, $1,000 of his wages a week or a month or whatever. But that's not a problem. He's a decent right back, but I don't like whingers. Cut his wage down, plus I replaced him with a Dutch player. So basically that's it. So he spent 2 seasons with us and was pretty solid, unspectacular really. As a freebie, you can't really go wrong and make 2. Another, Sparta Rotterdam, Jupiler League. What is going on? How are you spending £2 million? Right, it shows how overachieving we are, because we're not spending that sort of money. Well, we are this season because we're selling so many players, but Jesus. Right, next player. So next player is Zachary Labidi. You might vaguely remember him. We bought him in as a left midfielder, and then we got 3 much better left midfielders afterwards. So I loaned him out for the season at that place in Turkey where he played 1 game. But then we managed to sell him for £900,000. He's played 1 game, 6.2. Well done, Serbia. Vojvodina. You are legends for paying 900 grand for that player. That's, yeah. Well done, well done. Right, next one. So finally out the door, we're saying goodbye to the sewer. 23-year-old Polish under-21 international centre-back. He's pretty decent. He's got a bit of potential, but we could do better with a Dutch replacement. And his name's the sewer, but his name is Surin. We didn't just call him the sewer because he was awful. He just didn't get much game time. We made a tiny profit, 105 grand. Right, but that's it for the outs, right? That's all the dead. There's a few others I'll show you later. But let's talk about who we've bought in. So, first in the door is Awudu Obeng, who's an Australian international with a ton of talent, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, valued at 1.4 million. You've seen him before because we signed him with 6 months to go left on his contract. He's been bagging him in for Newcastle Jets in Australia, and hopefully he can do the same for us. He looks a decent player, and it's a free. Can't go wrong with that. He's only he's still going to improve. I think he could be our number 2 striker this year. So the second player to come in is a bit of a punt. It's a youngster. I mainly bought him because he's got 5-star potential, and his name is Groot. I am Groot. How can you not want a player called Groot? You don't even have to give him a nickname. That's amazing. So he's 17-year-old Dutch player, which is very important, right back. He's not going to get game time this season. He's just here to develop. We're going to get him some tutoring and all that sort of good stuff. We picked him up £350,000 because I'm trying to get all these Dutch players in the door early. So the next manager has Dutch players to use rather than me. But I think he's a decent little punt. I don't know if it'll make any money, but let's go for it. Next up, we've got one of our biggest signings of the transfer window, and that is Andrew Mendonca. He's a central midfielder. He is Dutch, which is the big key here. 14 under-21 caps. Can play as in defensive midfield or centre midfield as a playmaker type option. He looks a very, very good player. Nice pacey as well. 22 years old. Picked him up for £2 million, rising to 3 if he plays 50 games, scores 20 goals and plays 20 times for Holland or Netherlands. Oh, who the fuck knows anymore? But I think, I like this guy. I think he could be a superb player. I think he could be one of our star men this season. And another Dutch player in the door. Right, next. We've got a lot to go through. Next up, we've got Georgie Grafland, who is kind of just a Dutch striker that I picked up on the cheap because he looked all right. Nothing more, 350k. Just another Dutch striker just to bolster our younger team. He can be like 4th, 5th choice, that sort of stuff. Just a bit of a punt, really. Next up, we've got a bit of an FM legend here. I've had him on FM16, FM15. I've had really good careers with him. And that is Callum Gribben. He's not Dutch, but he's got 4.5 star potential. He's from Manchester United. He was alone at Walsall last season and did utter shite. We spent 300 grand on him. He looks a superb player still. Mentals are lacking a little bit, but he's versatile. He can play on both sides, central midfield, left and right. All good. Very, very good player. And a free kick taker. It's always nice. We've never had a really good free kick taker, so that's nice. Right. Welcome to the club, Callum. Next up, we've got what hopefully will become our star man alongside that Aussie guy. And that is the ridiculously named Nicholas Shiapakasi. Or as he will be forever known from now on, that's suggested in the comments, Picasso. Right, welcome, Picasso. We've got a lot of hope in this guy. He's got 13 caps for Uruguay. He's 23 years old, and he's 4-star potential. He's almost hitting his potential. He's 23. I think he's a very, very good all-rounder. I'm hoping he can do the job. £1.2 million from Valencia, where he's actually getting a bit of game time. So he can't be that bad, right? He's playing in a proper league and everything. So as you can see on this screen, this is actually last year's transfers, but because I did them so early, they got included here. So you can see Martin Groot and Abeng and stuff like that, and you can see a few. Right, let's show you the next transfer. We're not done. We've got more. And let's be a big welcome back to Papa John, the pizza delivery man. He was on loan with us last season, and we decided to pick him up on a free because he's a very good backup central defensive midfielder. So, loaned him for 20 games last season, picked him up on a free, job done. Next up we have Paul Mackay. Gotta be honest, don't remember signing this guy. Like, at all. Like, why have I got a 19-year-old Northern Irish goalkeeper? I might have done it ages ago and it's just come through. I can't for the life of me remember. No, not got Scooby. Picked him up on a free. I'm assuming we picked him up at the same time as the left back, but he didn't come in or something. And he's just a very good goalkeeper, apparently. I'll give him some tutoring. Hopefully he can do a job. Fuck knows. Next up, we have Stan van Bladderen. Bladder. He's a 3-star, what a legend, goalkeeper who is Dutch. That's literally why I bought him. He is Dutch. And he was cheap. And, yeah. But, I'll show you in a minute. We'll leave that there. Picked him up on a free. All that good stuff. Next up, we have a 31-year-old Dutch goalkeeper. Well, I bought too many goalkeepers, alright? Leave it. The Northern Irish guy's fine. But the two Dutchies, I bought the first one, and then saw this guy who's a bit better, a bit more experienced. And that's Marco Bizot. Played in Belgium for the last sort of 8 years, and Holland before that. Came through the Ajax ranks. And I just think he'll be a decent backup goalkeeper. He'll help our EU placements and squad builders shit. Next up, I'll just show you these now because we're going to hoof through them. John O'Brien, on loan from West Ham. He's basically here to make up the numbers. Plays central midfield and striker. Next up, Bosch. Jose Carlos, who is a central defender, Portuguese, on loan from West Ham. They were literally just brought in to just give a bit more squad depth. I don't plan on giving them much game time unless they play amazingly well or whatever. But they're just here to fill out the squad a little bit. And then actually bought a player some of you, well, probably most of you have heard of. It's Daryl Janmaat, the Newcastle legends. So Daryl Janmaat started off in Holland at Feyenoord, Den Haag, then went Herenveen, back to Feyenoord, interestingly. And then Newcastle picked him up for 5.75 million. Played for 3 seasons. Watford paid 8 million for him. And he's been absolutely solid. He's just fallen out. He's just getting on a bit. But he's just fallen out of favour. I think he could be a very good all-rounder signing. He's 33 now, but he's got a season or two left in him. Really chuffed to pick up somebody I know really well. He's got 37 caps for the Netherlands, Dutch, Holland team. And I just really like him. So I think that would be a great signing for us. He's quite attacking wing-back. We're going to talk about formation because I need to ask you guys a very big thing. We're going to an announcement, let's say, after this. Next up, we've got more Dutch players that I was desperate for. And the first one is Koen Maleholo, 20-year-old Dutch under-19 international. Really good centre-back prospect. He's all right. I wouldn't want to throw him in first straight away, but he's going to be very, very good. We stole him away from FC20. He's been on loan a couple of times, but 1.8 million, lots of money. Like I said, it's just so expensive to get these Dutch players in. And finally, Nol Havikotti, who is a central midfielder. This guy looks absolutely sensational as well. 2.1 million his value. He's got amazing mentals, absolutely superb mentals, and he's just going to be a possible 5-star potential, just very, very good. And we stole him from Lazio for 1.4 million. We bought him back home to basically make up the Dutch numbers, but actually very, very good. There was a few other players that went out, a few loanies, a few free, like Danny Post went on a free, and a couple of other youngsters that we just didn't like, a couple of loanies and stuff like that. So that is the transfers, but that is not it. There is more. So we've sold £6.5 million worth of players, right? And that doesn't include the £9 million worth of players we sold at the end of last season. We spent a lot of money, but we've left the finances in amazing shape. £16.5 million in the bank. We've got £3.8 million to spend on the transfer budget. We still got a month left, so we could definitely do something with that. But I need to ask you a favour before I spend any of this money we've got. And then currently spending 250. I've upped that because we had about 10 million to spend. I've upped that to 300 grand. I was like, just sort it out, right? Other news. In other news, the board are improving the youth facilities. They've also upgraded the stadium again, another 1,000 seats, costing 1.3 million, which is already done. They've also got an affiliate club in China, so we can bring in some merchandise monies. We're setting them up for the future, you see, even when we leave. We're leaving them in a good place. But the biggest news of all is that the club have announced plans to build a brand new stadium. Now, it didn't say how big that stadium was going to be. It said it was early planning and this could take some time. But the fact they're doing that is absolutely amazing. So we need to give them a good, solid last season before we fuck off to somewhere warmer, probably. So here it is, my friends. Here it is. I was going to sell Iwaki. I got Yoshimizu. I was going to sell him. I'm telling you now, because he wasn't good last season. But because he's been in Holland 3 years, he counts as homegrown. So we're like, we need homegrown. Well done, Iwaki. You're back in. You're back in, mate. So this is our lineup. So this is what I want to ask you guys. Right, so I'm recording this as of, when are we? 3 p.m. on Friday. Okay, 3 p.m. on Friday. It's going up tonight. On Saturday, at 8 p.m., I am going to do a live stream of the Venlo save. Right? And what's going to happen, so if you don't know what live streaming is, basically, I'm broadcasting live to an audience, so you can come in, be in the chat, while I'm doing stuff. You can see what's going on and you can ask me questions and stuff like that. With the plan is that with your help, those that want to help, we're going to build a brand new tactic, or two tactics probably, for Venlo for this season. We'll bang our brains together and really work on a tactic, maybe spend an hour long stream working on a brand new tactic and play the first game of the season, which will be the Super Cup final against Feyenoord, which is the league versus the cup winners. So the thing is here is that I want you guys to all come out, right? I know like some of you don't use Twitch or whatever. I'll put the link in the description. So go there now, hit the follow button when you get there to the link, or sign up to Twitch, whatever it is. Get there and be there for 8 p.m. tomorrow. Even if you don't want to hang out and do the tactic stuff, you can still hang out and just ask me questions, ask to see stuff, because I know lots of you like seeing what's gone on around the world of football. So if you want to do that, come out 8 p.m. tomorrow, link in the description, come out and chat. What we're then going to do is, once we've spent that hour and we've played that one game, I will upload that video to YouTube, just in case you can't get to Twitch or don't want to use Twitch. I'll make sure you guys don't miss anything by uploading that big video, that hour-long special, to YouTube for you guys to watch at a different date. I think I've covered everything, because I know a lot of you guys were sort of saying, how's Pogba doing, or how are Man United doing, or who won the Champions League or Europa League. So come tomorrow at 8 p.m. GMT, or your regional equivalent, and you can hang out and ask me all those questions, and I can show you and stuff like that. And you can help me shape this team for next season. I just thought it sounded like a really fun idea, and to get you guys really included. So make sure you're following my Twitch and Twitter at Loki Doki GG, and I'll keep you all updated when I'm going live. It should be about 8 p.m. I'm aiming for 8, so 15 minutes either side, probably. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of the transfers. Let me know what you think of the one more season because of that Europa League. I think it's definitely worth it. The group stage hasn't been drawn yet. And I will see you bright and early on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.